Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Lior Weinstein on the line. He's a fractional CTO and founder of CTOx. Lior, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Lior, so I'm a big fan of the fractional model in general. I mean, I've seen fractional CTOs, I've seen fractional CFOs. I just like that concept of fractional. I think there's a ton of benefits. And one of the things that was an interesting thought process for me in terms of having you on the show was I'm like, oh, wow, CTOx is teaching other people how to get into this fractional business and niche. And I'm like, wow, what an amazing venture and what a great service. So it's great to have you on. And to get this kicked off here, I'm just curious, how did you get the idea in the beginning to even launch CTOx? Like, where'd that start?
So I've been a fractional CTO for a few years, and I'm a bit of an oddball in the industry because I also do fractional chief growth officer. So I have background in marketing and sales as well as technology. And I realized, man, for technology professionals, they don't have the marketing and sales skills. They don't know how to self-promote. They don't know how to build marketing systems and growth systems. And this could be highly valuable if I teach other tech guys like me on that side how to grow a business, how to get clients, how to serve it. Plus, I realized for me as a technology guy on that C-suite, I love variety. Like one of the hardest things for me is watching paint dry. Right? You set the strategy, you get the plan in, and then you're really waiting for execution. So the fractional opportunity creates both the business side. You have like multiple streams of income. You can make way more than a single salary. And you also get the variety and you kind of get to choose different projects you're working on as opposed to kind of getting stuck in a single organization and really as a leader, mostly waiting for your managers and people under them to make the dream happen, make the things real.
Yeah, and I feel like it also gives you a little bit of variety in projects too, right? So you're not kind of like, you learn more faster and also you have a lot of variety there. Am I off?
That's right. So variety of projects, variety of relationship, variety of income. What's nice about technology, it's very common to have upside, right? Mm-hmm. Like if a project is successful, if you are managing to launch the product, make more revenue, make more profit. So it's also just a variety of how you get compensated.
Yeah, a bunch of wins there. So as we look at this space in general, like how many CTOs have you been working with or how many have been through the program? I'm just curious about that as long as you've been doing it.
Yeah, so we launched almost a year ago, about like our first member. We worked on it for the first quarter, creating everything about it, actually a couple of quarters before the first one joined. But the first one joined about mid-April. And we've had about 155 people run through the program so far. And I hope by the end of this year we'll be able.
By the way, that's pretty significant. That's a lot. Congrats! And when a year plus since you've been doing this, that's a lot.
Amazing growth. We hope by the end of this year we'll kind of touch the 500 mark if everything goes well. And it's pretty, it's pretty high qualification because our program doesn't teach people how to be a CTO. You need to be able to lead technology for a business. Now, the CTO of Microsoft is not the CTO of a dental service organization, right? So we have different levels of proficiency, but all of them relative to their target market are highly proficient to be the technology lead. And we tell them we're teaching you how to build a business as a fractional CTO, how to do marketing, how to do sales, how to do operations so you don't end up working 100 hours a week. But we don't teach you the actual skills of leading if you hadn't done in the past. We do some continuing education, some professional training. So most people by and large have 15 years of experience and above. And I would say the average is probably 20, 25. And then we have some people that have been a CTO for 40 years that also joined the program because they want to build this as a practice.
Can you share maybe, I don't know, you had a lot of students, maybe a success story of somebody that's been through the program and has been able to, achieve something?
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Some people join the program and they want to use this as side income, right? They want to make another like 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year and keep their job or keep whatever else they're doing. And some people are coming in and I just want a full-time salary equivalent, like make $300,000 to $500,000 cash, like 40 grand a month. And then some people come in and they want to, make 7 figures a year, maybe even sell it for 8 figures a few years later. So that context, and I'm going to give a shout out. I didn't, think about it until you asked it. So Sanjay Akut joined, one of the early people that joined the program. He quit his job after a week and a bit. Within 3 weeks of joining, he already got his first few clients. and started making like 20 grand a month within 8 weeks.
He quit his job. Yeah. That's amazing. What an amazing story. Shout out, right?
He quit his job. And it was such a, he was the CTO. So his niche, and this is a big thing we talk about in the program, like how to position, his niche is immigration law firms. And he was the CTO of a super high-end immigration law firm before he decided to do this. So that was definitely one. And now he has a full-blown like practice and clients, and he's also selling application development. So he's not closing, $10,000, $12,000 a month retainers. He's closing $60,000 projects, $500,000 projects.
Yeah, that's real money. Like that's real money and that's real project, and also interesting, right? Like we were talking about variety of work and things like that. Like that's meaningful to the organizations that he's bringing on, right? Like that's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to me maybe about speaking of these bigger clients and things. What are some of the strategies that you teach at CTOx for like attracting and retaining these type of high value clients?
Yeah, and we put out a lot of free content about this because, my general philosophy is sharing, and I wish everybody does it, and CTOs is also such a global thing. Like you can be a CTO I'm originally from Israel, right? I live in the States now, but you can be an Israeli CTO for an American company, a German CTO for an Argentinian company. It's such a global position, and it's very unique as opposed to like a chief marketing officer, for example. Mm-hmm. And so we teach some of the methods are easy and essential. Like we do a free webinar almost once a month. And this is one of the attract methods we talk about, which is activating your network. Now, it's a very basic concept. Basically, hey, reach out to your network, and then we teach people how to think about the network. Some people actually cultivate and kind of maintain one, but a lot of people don't. So then I ask them, I joke, hey, my hairdresser is the most connected person I know. Right? Mm-hmm. And so your network is really anything. It's your family, your neighbors, certainly former colleagues, former bosses, service providers you worked with in the past, right? Maybe you have an account manager that you led $1 million implementation. That account manager obviously knows people like you that do the same work in other organizations. So there's a lot of kind of hidden networks. And once you have that list that you organize, you basically reach out and say, hey, can we do a 15-minute catch-up just kind of to see, I'd love to hear what you're up to. I wouldn't share what I'm up to. And in that conversation, we actually give scripts. But one of my favorite directives is ask for money, you get advice. Ask for advice, you get money. And what that means is people have a tendency to say no when you ask them for something.
Say that one more time slower, because I love that saying, and I haven't heard it that way, and like that succinctly before. Say that one more time, please.
So if you ask for money, you get advice. And if you ask for advice, you get money. And that's something I learned as a startup entrepreneur, fundraising. But it's much easier for me to unlock investor conversations and venture capital conversations if I came in and said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. What do you think? Versus this is what I'm trying to do. Can you give me money? And that's the same thing with personal relationships. If you talk to somebody and you're like, do you know anybody that could use a fractional CTO, right? You're mostly going to get a no, because no is a safe answer with people that like you and know you.
Like an automatic
because they don't want to hurt the relationship. That's it. But here's what they love to say yes to. They love to say yes to a mission. So if you come in and you say, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about being a fractional CTO for chicken growers under 1 billion birds a year. Real niche. And you ask them, hey, what do you think? Do you have any advice for me? Now, if they happen to be a relevant prospect, they're probably going to raise your hand and say, oh, I think I can actually use you. And if they happen to have a friend and they're going to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, Mike, you should all talk to Mike. But if you come in and say, do you know anyone, or do you happen to need to use one, you're probably going to get a no. So we kind of teach, activate your network, make a list of people you know, ask for advice, don't ask for money. Very simple call. And then we have other tricks. Like, for example, at the end of each one of those calls, just say, who else should I talk to? Not do you know anybody else? Like, who else should I talk to? Just adding that one-liner at the end of a 15-minute call. For every 10 calls, you're going to get 2-3 more meetings.
I'm going to end this now. That's a great strategy, and it sounds pretty straightforward, but I feel like it's all in the execution on that one, huh? Like if you execute that right, and if you do those things over and over and over again, you can't help but pick up clients, assuming that you have the skills to carry out the work, right? Assuming that, of course, that's a given.
That's a working assumption of the role. Like you need to know how to deliver the value. We'll just teach you how to get in front of people that want the value.
Amazing. Well, Lior, I have to say, it's been great having you on today, man, and learning more about what you're doing, how you're doing it. One of the things I want to do is, how do they know if they're a good fit to work with you and your team? Like, I do want to get into that a little bit. Like, how do they know? Because, like you said, the assumption is they can actually deliver. How do they know if they're a good fit?
So I think, here's what I say in the program to people. You entrepreneurs that happen to be CTOs. I think if somebody's thinking about this as a way, like they're having a hard time finding a job and they're like, maybe I'll do this instead of a job, and it's probably not a good fit. People need to want to do this. They need to want to have this kind of lifestyle, the freedom of choice, the freedom of relationship of who they get to work with, the freedom of purpose, freedom of projects they want to work on. They're willing to understand you're investing in a business, and a business, unlike a job, has uncapped revenue, uncapped opportunity, and with that has a little bit of a slower burn, right? Because if you've never done it before, you're not going to, build a $40,000 a month business in 3 weeks. But we've seen people do that in 6 months, and we've certainly seen people do that within a year. But once they hit that, there's also a clear pathway to making 70 grand a month, 100 grand a month. And, we teach across the board, whatever goals you are. So having the entrepreneur mindset, super important. Wanting the freedom, all the freedoms, freedom, money, time, purpose, relationship, wanting the freedom, and then willing to have a beginner mindset if you are a beginner, because you're going to be humbled in the process if you've never done this before. Like putting yourself out there and trying to talk to clients and learning new skills. Technologists are very good at technology, but they've never they need to go back to school to do marketing and sales, right? I cannot say marketing and sales. It's not rocket science, but it is science. So we teach, we coach, the people that are most successful in the program are contributing, they're adding to the conversations, they're asking questions, they get on calls. So if that's the mindset and that's your purpose, I think you'll be a great fit.
Last thing, Lior, how do people follow up? How do they learn more?
The best way is our website, CTOx.com. There's free resources. You can sign up to webinars. You can download ebooks. You can get on a call with the team to see if it's a good fit, learn about the programs and all the options we have. And also on LinkedIn, follow our page because we put out free content and different courses to help you. So even if you're not ready for the program, you're probably going to learn a lot and maybe it'll help you. And, my ideal scenario is that you learn something from us, actually get a client, and then say, okay, I want 50 more, so I'm going to join the program.
Amazing. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put the links in the show notes so you can just click on the link and head right on over. Speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Lior, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.